The All Black coach Ian Foster joins us again. Welcome back, Foz.
Marty, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, mate. And here we go. This is the last lineup before you catch the plane and head off to France for the World Cup. Is this a bit of a luxury lineup for you, given the fact that we've got the Bledisloe locked up, we've played so well in 3 games, you were able to do this and make so many changes?
Look, it's certainly nice the way we've started. We wouldn't say it's a surprise. We've really targeted we need to get our performance at a level going into that round 1 in the World Cup, which is France, obviously. So there's no doubt we've worked hard behind the scenes in many areas of our game. And I think that, by getting the first 3 games under our belt and winning a couple of trophies, it's given us a small opportunity, I guess, to look at some of our depth options. But, the only reason we've done that is that those players have earned it through how they've gone about their work. So, we've been drip feeding a few of the changes through the last 3 weeks, but, to give the likes of a Samipeni and a Stevenson a start and to give Dallas reward off the bench is purely based on how they've earned it the last 4 weeks.
Those guys off the bench like Dallas McLeod, will they get some run on time other than, say, the minute that Perifetta got last year?
We just have to wait and see. It's when you have your bench, you're reacting to what's happening in the game in front of you. So it's hard to make a definite decision. You've got a pretty clear idea with your front rowers nowadays, but particularly with your backs and your loose forwards, often you're reacting to what's happening in front of you. So, but I think if you look at the last 3 weeks, we've been able to get people on with enough time to really get involved in it, and that's always our intention.
This team is going to be called a B team by everyone, isn't it, apart from you? And why isn't it a B team? Why do you have so much confidence in these players? Do you believe they could start any game for the All Blacks?
Oh, absolutely. I'd be disappointed if that was a category, because you look at through that pack, and for example, and we've got a couple of pretty good locks playing together, and
not bad.
We've got Artie and Sam. We've got our skip back. We've got Sonny, who's been outstanding as a hooker. We've got Nepo, who's started a whole lot of test matches, and really, so you've got Tamaiti and Samipeni that I guess are the newer boys. So it's a very, very experienced pack. I think the backs we've got Anthony Brown coming back from sort of a long injury and suspension, and he played some time last week. Braden's been involved off the bench in 2 big tests this year already, and Jordan's not too bad, is he?
Not bad.
I don't think the B category works at all. I think we need to get to the World Cup with 33 players at the starting line all set to go and firing, and you have to show a little bit of courage sometimes selection-wise, and just certainly the game to do it. Have
you and the selectors got your 33 penned in, not penciled in, for the announcement on Sunday?
Marty, I get asked that question a lot.
Yes.
I'm sleeping soundly, let's put it that way. And look, we've got a pretty clear plan. I think quite often you have a plan and then you adapt it as you go along, and that's kind of what we've been doing. And so I think our 33 are reasonably clear to us, but that doesn't mean that can't change on a test performance, because that's how much value we put on test performances. So, the key thing is not whether they're in pen or penciled in. It's that I guess we're all open-minded going into this week, because this is a test that means a lot to us as well.
John Hart once famously said that we're a nation of 4 million selectors. That was when the population was round about there. So we all think that we're you, and we all try and get into your headspace, and we all try and assume or presume that we know what you're thinking. So here's a couple of questions. Is Damien McKenzie now, in your mind, the number 2, number 10? Is he surpassed Bowden for that role?
Well, see, now the problem from John Hart's era to mine is 25% bigger, because the population's over 5 million.
Yes.
So it's so the answer to the question is, I don't really want to rank Damien, but the fact is this is his second start in 4 tests, and it is a reward for how he's played, and it is a massive desire from us to make sure that he feels really comfortable in driving our team around. And we know that we need 3 outstanding 10s at a World Cup, and that's our plan.
Same as Will Jordan. A lot of us have been calling for 15. He's played 14 with Bowden at 15. Do you see that he can cover both positions equally, or do you have a preference for what jersey he wears?
Well, the answer is definitely cover both. Everyone knows that. We know that. But we've also been delighted with the combination that we've been able to establish with Bowden and him, and the fact that we've got a role for him when he's a wing that he spends a lot of the time in what most people would call a 15 role. So, we fundamentally believe they're interchangeable. But look, he's a 15 and he's a 14. But the fact is that Bodie, we had to take Bodie off last week. So there's a bit of management with him, and it's a great opportunity for Will to have a crack in the 15 jersey. And I don't think he's got anything to prove to us there, because we know how good he can be there.
How fantastic has it been for you to have him back fully fit? It's like having Messi on the bench, isn't it? Come on, that guy over there, look.
It's been great. And there's no doubt he's gone through a bit of a journey, and, we missed him in the last part of last year. But, look, he's a key player for us. There's no denying that. And, when he's on and he's smiling and he's sniffing out things, he's lethal in that space. So we saw it again last week, and it's just great to see him out enjoying his rugby, and he's and just trusting his instincts, and that's all we can ask for.
All Black coach Ian Foster's with us. I'm going to play you a quote from a previous interview that we did, and this was about your theory about you wanted to win every single test.
It's always about winning every test, and I think you can fudge it and say you want to build, and it's all about the World Cup, and let's be honest, we all know it's the trophy that really matters for us at the end of the year. But I think for us, the best way for us to prepare for that is to go in with we want to play well, we want to be dominant from test one.
So I suppose I go back to that original question. If we hadn't have beaten Australia or hadn't won all 3 matches, would you have picked this particular team for this test?
Yeah, I don't like living in that world, Martin, thinking about what would happen if things didn't go well.
Yeah, good point.
But it's, well, the reality is I think, like I said at the time, is that we've deliberately not taken a strategy of that enabled us to have an out when it came to our performances, because part of getting ready for World Cups, I think, is not just about selection, and it's not just about tactics. It's also about that mental resilience and putting yourself under mental pressure to perform at the time that you need to. And so when we've looked at the last 3 tests, we've deliberately not wanted to give ourselves an out. And so in that way, are we pleased where we're at? Yes, we are. Do we think it's a fluke? No, we don't. And so right now, we're in a position that those words I said, I guess, back then, we're kind of, in many ways, we're trying to fulfil those, and this test is no different. But what we do need to have is we need to go into the World Cup with 33 players that are all primed to go. I didn't want to go into a World Cup with 23 players or 20 players primed to go, and the others sort of getting edgy about how well they would play if they were given a chance. So it's about building the 33 so that in a racing analogy we get to that starting line of a 100-metre sprint and everyone's ready to go fast.
That means that this philosophy will continue throughout the group stages of the World Cup. Is that your plan?
Well, at the moment we've got a plan with that. I think it's I don't think group stages are about mix and matching the whole time, but certainly this World Cup's unique because we've got a squad of 33. When previous World Cups it's been 32, 31, and also there's an extra week in it, so they've got a bye week. So there's a few variables in there that are different. You get bigger rest periods, so how we manage particularly those last 2 games of a pool, will basically be determined by I guess, our performance progress in the first two games.
A couple of quick questions. We'll let you go. I know you're very busy. Sam Cane coming back was obviously he's completely okay again. Was there any thought of just resting him up, or just please tell us what's going on with that neck of his?
His neck's good. Last week was in many ways precautionary. We therefore, because we made an early decision, we didn't have to test him. We didn't have to put him through anything. And quite frankly, at the start of this week, it was, we took a slow process and just said, okay, well, let's try X and Y. There was no pressure on him to actually play. But the flip side of it is he's the captain of the All Blacks. He wants to play. He got through all his physical loading on Monday, Tuesday, and with a big thumbs up. So he's ready to go. So I think it's important to get him back in the saddle and make sure that he's ready as a player going into the World Cup as well.
When you tell players that they're not playing who want to play, like all three Barrett brothers, especially Scott Barrett who loves playing, how does that work? How does it go? Do you actually do that? And what's their reaction to you? Do they give you stink face or do they try and understand?
Yeah, that's my Monday night.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. And that's something that I do, and with players who don't make it, and we have a conversation, and all you can do as a coach is give facts. But the guys have been outstanding in that space. I mean, everyone is intensely competitive. People are looking at the calendar, and everyone wants opportunities to impress. But at the end of the day, selection is about what's the right thing for the team, to help this team grow, and players are really accepting of that. And I think it's, like some of the conversations are based around where their bodies are at, and when we feel it's right for them to have a bit of a breather and to get over a few niggles, and some of them are based on, I guess, form, and some of them are based on just giving other players opportunity. But the good thing is that we haven't had too many form conversations.
And then the opposite side of that is going to Samipeni and Shaun Stevenson and to Scott McLeod, as you said, and the look on their faces when they get told they're wearing the black jersey. And Dallas McLeod. So and the look on their faces. I'm sure that never ever gets tired, does it?
No, it doesn't. And they don't always get told before the team's actually announced to the team. So there's a certain degree of apprehension, and we want everyone preparing to play, and so we don't sort of go out and tell everyone straight away at the start of the week. We want people to prepare to play as if they're all playing. And so for some it's a little bit of a surprise, but in many ways that's all part of it, isn't it? And you've definitely seen their faces, and then seeing the reality of it, and them getting back to work and making sure they've done everything they need to do to perform as we know they can. So it's a privilege to be part of that process, to be honest.
Final question then, 2:35 kickoff. So this is completely rearranges your normal kind of Saturday, doesn't it, for a test match?
Yeah, it certainly destroys my sleeping, but it makes that afternoon go so much better. And it's we love the kickoffs, and it's I think down there in Dunedin it's going to be fantastic. I mean, clearly it's a bit chilly down this way, but with that roof on in a day game, going to be a great occasion against a team that we know is hurting, and it's going to pull up and by 100% as we saw last week as well. So I think it's going to be an epic way for us to finish our home program.
Bit of a nonsense question to finish with, and I'll leave you alone after that. Do you mind that the team gets leaked? We got told by a talkback caller yesterday who read the team out, gave us the whole team, and it was exactly right. So he's either a soothsayer, crystal ball, or got a good word. It seems that everyone kind of knew in advance.
Yeah, a little bit frustrating, and clearly somewhere in our New Zealand rugby system, someone's talking when they probably shouldn't have. So that was very disappointing.
I bet. All the very best, mate. Congratulations again. Here we go. We've had 3 wonderful games so far. Let's go and give Aussie a right slap. Is that the intention?
Well, I don't think it's going to happen quite like that, but we certainly are preparing for a big one against the fired-up Wallabies team.
Always appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being generous with it, Ian.
Thanks, Martin. Appreciate that.
All right. Ian Foster, All Blacks coach with us. There you go, ladies and gents, and hopefully asked a few questions that you wanted answers.